I got back from my sister's funeral, and something fell off the second I stepped inside. I walked down the hall, tired and still carrying that heavy funeral feeling, and I stopped cold. My bedroom door was locked. Not jammed. Not swollen from humidity. Locked. Somebody had installed one of those cheap deadbolts you buy at a hardware store, the kind that looks tough but is really just a few screws and a little piece of metal. That lock was not there when I left 3 days earlier. My daughter, Ashley, was standing in the hallway with her arms folded. She was staring at the floor like she hoped it would open up and swallow her. She would not look me in the eye. Behind her was my son-in-law, Tyler. He was leaned back against the wall, wearing that same cocky little grin he had the day he talked Ashley into moving into my house for a little while. That was 5 years ago. Ashley cleared her throat. "Dad, we need to talk." Her voice sounded small, not just quiet. Small. Like when she was a kid and she came to me at 8 years old to admit she broke my toolbox. I set my overnight bag down on the floor. "Yeah," I said. "We sure do. Tell me why my bedroom door has a lock on it." Tyler pushed himself off the wall like he owned the place. "My dad needs somewhere to stay. His building is getting renovated." I stared at him. "So you gave him my room?" It was not really a question. I was still too stunned for full anger. It was more like my brain was clicking into place, piece by piece, and every piece was bad. Tyler shrugged like this was the most normal thing in the world. "He's got health problems. He needs the main bedroom. It has the bathroom right there. It's better for him getting around. We moved your things to the garage. We were careful." I blinked at him. "You moved my belongings into the garage." Ashley jumped in fast, like she was trying to stop a train with her hands. "Just for now, Dad. Just until we figure something out." I did not answer. I walked past them and headed straight for the garage. The garage door was open, and there it was. My bed frame was leaned up against the wall like trash waiting for pickup. Boxes were stacked everywhere, some taped, some half open. My mother's quilt was tossed over plastic storage bins like it did not matter. The wooden chest my dad built for me when I turned 18 was sitting right on the concrete floor like it was just another piece of junk. They had even taken the pictures off my walls. Family photos. Old memories. All of it stripped down like I was being erased. I stood there, not moving, for about half a minute. Maybe longer. Time gets weird when your heart is pounding and you're trying to stay steady. Then I walked back inside, pulled out my phone, and called my lawyer. "Tom," I said when he answered, "this is Frank Watson. I need an eviction notice drawn up." He said something about the time and the weekend. "I know what time it is," I told him. "No, this cannot wait until Monday." Ashley's face went pale, like all the blood drained out at once. "Dad," she said, "you cannot do that." I kept my voice low and flat. "This is my house, Ashley. My name is on the deed. Your name is not. Tyler's name sure is not." Tyler's smile disappeared like somebody flipped a switch. I looked right at him. "You have 30 days to leave." Tyler's jaw dropped. "You're going to kick out your own daughter?" "I'm removing people who locked me out of my own bedroom, put a lock on my door without my permission, and moved somebody into my home without asking me," I said. "And I'm doing it calmly, because I spent 42 years in civil engineering. I learned how to keep my head when something is falling apart." Ashley started crying. Not sniffles. Real crying. I did not raise my voice. "Ashley can stay if she wants. She is my daughter. But you and your dad are not staying here." Tyler looked like he wanted to argue, but he was searching for words. Right then, an older man stepped into the hallway holding a television remote, blinking like he had just walked into the wrong movie. That had to be Tyler's father. He looked at us and frowned. "What's all the yelling about?" Tyler turned toward him, trying to control the situation. "Nothing, Dad. Go back to the room." I pointed down the hall. "That is not your father's room. That is my room, in my house. I bought this place with my own money in 1987. The older man stared at Tyler, confused. "You told me this was your place." Tyler forced a smile that did not reach his eyes. "It is, Dad. Do not worry about it." "No," I said, firm and clear. "It is not. Your son lied to you." Ashley was crying harder now, wiping her cheeks with her hands. "Dad, please," she said. "We just needed." "What you needed," I cut in, "was to ask like grown-ups. Instead, you waited until I was gone burying my sister, and you pulled a stunt that looks a whole lot like a home invasion." I picked up my overnight bag again, because I knew if I stayed one more second, I was going to say things I could not take back. "I'm staying at a hotel tonight," I said. When I come back tomorrow, I expect your father gone and my room put back the way it was. If it is not, Tom files the paperwork first thing Monday morning. I left. I drove to a Hampton Inn off the interstate and parked. I sat there for 10 minutes with my hands on the steering wheel, trying to breathe. My sister, Karen, was gone at 63. Breast cancer. I had just spent 3 days watching her kids fall apart while I played the steady one. I held everyone up. I did not crack. Then I came home and found out I did not even have a room in my own house. The hotel room was clean and plain. The kind of room that smells like detergent and has nothing personal in it. I sat on the edge of the bed and finally let myself feel the whole thing. Anger, yes. But more than that, it was betrayal. My sister Karen had warned me about this 2 years earlier when I mentioned Ashley and Tyler were still living with me. Frank, she told me, they are using you. Ashley is a grown woman. She has a husband who works full-time. They can get their own place. They are saving up for a house, I had said, like I always did. For 5 years, Karen gave me that look. The look she learned when we were kids, when I was acting stubborn on purpose. Wake up, she said. They found a free ride, and they are not getting off. I should have listened. But Ashley is my only child. After her mother died, I promised myself I would always be there for her. Somewhere along the line, I mixed up being a good dad with letting people walk all over me. My phone buzzed. A text from Ashley. Dad, please come home. We need to talk about this. I typed back. We can talk when my room is back to normal and Tyler's dad is gone. Not before. Another buzz. This time it was Tyler. You are being unreasonable. We will work out a compromise. I blocked his number. Right then. No hesitation. The next morning, I called a locksmith before I called anybody else. I told him to meet me at the house at 9 o'clock in the morning. When I pulled into the driveway, Ashley's car was there. Tyler's truck was gone. Ashley opened the front door, and she looked like she had not slept at all. I did not waste time. Is Tyler's father still here? She swallowed. He left early. Tyler took him to a motel. Good, I said. The locksmith will be here in 10 minutes. We are changing every lock. Her eyes widened like she still hoped I was bluffing. You are really doing this? Yes, I said, and I walked past her. My bedroom door was open now. The cheap deadbolt was gone, but the holes were still there in the door frame. Like scars. Like proof. They had moved my furniture back, but it was wrong. Everything was slightly off. Drawers were not closed right. The bedspread was wrinkled and pulled crooked. My father's wooden chest was shoved in the corner like it did not deserve a place. And the curtains were different. Heavy. Dark. Not mine. I pulled those curtains down and carried them out to the garage. I found my real curtains stuffed in a box with a label that said bedroom. I stood there, looking around, feeling like a stranger inside my own walls. Then the locksmith arrived. He was a young guy, maybe around 30, clean-cut and professional. He took one look at the front door, the tension in the air, and the damage on my bedroom frame. He did not ask for a story. He did not need one. He just opened his toolbox and got to work. Ashley hovered behind me in the hallway. Dad, she said, can we talk when he is done? It took him 45 minutes. The locksmith put new deadbolts on the front door and the back door. He also put a new lock on my bedroom door, one I actually approved of. When he finished, he handed me the keys. Only 2 sets. I turned them over in my hand. These are the only copies. I asked. Yes, sir, he said. I can make more if you want. I do not, I told him. I paid the bill, and I tipped him well. He earned it. When he walked out, the house went quiet in that heavy way it gets after a storm. I sat down at the kitchen table. My daughter, Ashley, sat across from me. Her eyes were red again. She had clearly been crying while the locksmith worked. I'm sorry, she said. We should not have done it like that. But Dad, Tyler's father really did need help. I leaned forward and kept my voice steady. Then Tyler should have helped him in a place Tyler pays for. Or a motel. Or an apartment. Or anywhere on God's green earth that is not my bedroom. She started to speak, but I held up my hand. And do not tell me you cannot afford it, I said. Ashley, you are 34 years old. Tyler is 36. You have both been working full-time for over 10 years. If you cannot afford basic living on your own, that tells me this is not about money. It is about habits. Ashley looked down at her hands. She was still wearing her mother's wedding ring. I gave it to her when she turned 21. Seeing it on her finger right then hit me like a punch. If my late wife, Melissa, were sitting at that table, she would know exactly what to say. She always knew how to hold a line without turning it into cruelty. Me, I had to do it the hard way. I have let this go on too long, I said. You and Tyler have lived here rent-free. I have paid the utilities, the property taxes, the insurance. I buy most of the groceries. I keep the place up. I fix things. I handle everything. Ashley tried to defend it. We help out. I almost laughed, but it was not funny. You wash dishes sometimes, I said. And you mow the lawn when I remind you 3 times. That is not helping out. That is the bare minimum a decent guest would do. Her voice got quiet. So what are you saying? I'm saying you are an adult, I told her. And it is time you live like one. You and Tyler have 30 days to find your own place. I will even help with the deposit if you truly need it. But you are moving out. Her head snapped up. Dad, you cannot be serious. I stared right back at her. I have never been more serious in my life. I pulled the second set of keys out of my pocket and set them on the table between us. These are your keys for the next 30 days, I said. After that, I changed the locks again. And you will not have a copy. She reached out and took them, but her hand was shaking. Where are we supposed to go? She asked. That is for you and Tyler to figure out, I said. You are both employed. You can get an apartment. I stood up from the table. I am done being walked on, Ashley, I told her. I am done being the easy option. If you want a relationship with me after this, it has to be based on respect, not dependence. I walked to my bedroom. I closed the door. I locked it. Then I stood there in the quiet, listening to Ashley cry in the kitchen. I hated the sound of it. I hated myself for causing it. And I also knew I was right to finally stop it. What I really should have hated was the fact I let it get to this point. My phone rang. It was my lawyer, Tom. Frank, he said, I got your message last night. Are you sure about this? Completely, I said. All right, he told me. I will have the formal eviction notice ready by Monday. From what you told me, it sounds like you already started handling it yourself. I want the paperwork anyway, I said. If they do not leave on their own, I want everything lined up. Smart, Tom said. Then his voice softened. And I am sorry about your sister, Karen. Thanks, I said. If you need anything, he added, you call me, day or night. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of my bed and looked around my room. Most of my stuff was back where it belonged. Close enough, anyway. But the room did not feel the same. It felt like someone had stepped over a line they had no right to step over. They had been in here, moving my things, touching them, deciding what mattered and what did not. The wooden chest my dad made for me was still shoved in the corner. I walked over and opened it. Inside were my father's old tools. The letter he wrote me when I graduated college. Pictures of Melissa. My mother's jewelry that I saved for Ashley one day. And I could tell somebody had gone through it. Not wildly. Not like a thief in a hurry. But things were not sitting the way I left them. Somebody had looked, and they thought I would not notice. I spent the rest of the day putting my bedroom back together the right way. Not their way. My way. I found more of my things out in the garage, buried under boxes. Books. My father's watch. A framed wedding photo of Melissa and me that used to sit on my dresser. That one bothered me the most, because it meant somebody picked it up, looked at it, and still shoved it out of my room like it did not belong. Around dinner time, Ashley knocked on my bedroom door. Dad, she said, Tyler is home. He wants to talk to you. I do not want to talk to Tyler, I said through the door. Please, she said. Just 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. Tyler stood behind Ashley in his work clothes. He is an auto mechanic, good with his hands, and terrible with boundaries. He was the kind of man who could rebuild an engine but could not understand the word no. He tried to sound calm. Frank, I think we got off on the wrong foot this morning. I stared at him. You locked me out of my bedroom. There is no right foot for that. Tyler lifted his hands a little, like he was trying to make himself look reasonable. We did not break in. No, I said. You installed a lock on my door in my house without my permission. I could feel my blood pressure climbing, so I forced myself to speak slowly. You know what that is called? I asked. Breaking and entering. I could have called the police instead of calling a lawyer. Tyler scoffed. Over a lock. Over an unauthorized occupant. I snapped. And over the fact you moved my belongings like I do not live here. Yes, Tyler. Over a lock. I looked at Ashley, then back at him. You both have 30 days, I said. Find a place. Pack your things. Leave. Tyler crossed his arms. And what if we do not? My voice went cold. Then the sheriff removes you. Physically. And everything you own ends up on the curb. Is that what you want? Ashley grabbed Tyler's arm hard enough to make him flinch. Stop, she said to him. Then she looked at me. We will go pack. We can stay with your brother until we find something. Tyler started to protest. We should not have to. Tyler, Ashley said, sharper this time, please. They went upstairs. I heard drawers opening and slamming shut. I heard low voices, angry and tense. Then, after a while, the house went quiet. I made myself a sandwich and ate it standing at the kitchen counter because I did not feel like sitting anywhere. I kept thinking about Melissa, about what she would say. She always knew when to be gentle and when to be firm. But Melissa was not here. She had been gone 12 years. And for 12 years, I had tried to be two parents at once. I tried to make up for what Ashley lost. I tried to fill a hole that cannot be filled, no matter how hard you try. Somewhere in that process, I forgot the point of parenting is not to keep your kid leaning on you forever. It is to teach them to stand up on their own 2 feet. Late that night, around 10 o'clock, I heard Tyler's truck start. I walked to the window and looked out. They were loading suitcases and boxes into the bed of the truck. Ashley looked up at the house once before she climbed into the passenger seat. Even from that distance, I could tell she was crying. Tyler's truck rolled down the street and disappeared. I went to bed in my own room, in my own house, and I slept better than I had in years. Sunday morning, I woke up with that strange mix of peace and heartbreak. Then I did something I should have done earlier. I called my brother-in-law, Paul, my sister Karen's widower. He answered on the second ring. Frank, he said, how are you holding up? I let out a slow breath. I have been better. Then I got right to it. Paul, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be straight with me. When Karen was sick, did Ashley ever come by to visit? There was a pause. Not a quick pause. A long one. The kind that tells you the truth before the words even show up. Paul finally spoke. She came once, Frank. Right at the beginning. Stayed maybe an hour. My stomach tightened. In 6 months, Paul continued, that was it. Karen did not want me to tell you. She kept making excuses for her. She said Ashley was busy and had her own life. I sat down hard in the nearest chair. She told me she was coming every week. I said. My voice sounded far away, even to me. She told me she was helping you with the kids. Paul gave a tired, almost sad little laugh. Frank, the kids are in their 20s. They do not need help. And no, Ashley was not here. When we hung up, I just sat there for a minute staring at the wall. Then I pulled up my phone records. I checked call logs. I looked at messages. I went back through Saturday after Saturday. All those times Ashley said she was at Paul's house. All those texts where she told me she was helping take care of Karen. It was all lies. Every single one. So I checked the one place people tell the truth without meaning to, social media. I found her page and started scrolling. Pictures from every Saturday for the past 6 months. Ashley and Tyler at restaurants. Ashley and Tyler at the beach. Ashley and Tyler at a concert. Shopping, smiling, posing, living it up. While my sister was dying, my daughter was out having fun, and she was lying right to my face about it. I called my lawyer again. Tom, I said, I want to update my will. I want Ashley removed completely. Everything goes to Paul and Karen's kids. Tom was quiet for a moment. Frank, are you sure? That is a major step. I'm sure, I said. Can you have it ready this week? I can have it ready tomorrow, he told me. Monday morning, I went to the bank and took Ashley off every account I could. She had been listed as beneficiary. If something happened to me, she could have stepped right in and accessed my money. Not anymore. Then I went to work. It was my first day back after Karen's funeral, and my team gave me room, which I appreciated. I buried myself in my job. I reviewed structural reports, checked load calculations, and combed through details. I did the kind of careful, picky work that forces your brain to stay occupied. Ashley called 6 times that day. I did not answer. She left voicemails anyway. Dad, please talk to me. We're at Tyler's brother's place, but there's no room for us. We need to come back. Dad, I'm sorry. We made a mistake. Can we please just talk? Dad, you cannot just kick us out. That's not legal. That last one made me laugh out loud at my desk. Not legal. Coming from the person who locked me out of my own bedroom and moved someone into my home without asking. Tuesday afternoon, Tom called me. Eviction notices are filed, he said. They have been formally served. Also, your new will is ready to sign. I'll be there in an hour, I told him. The will was 12 pages long. Tom sat with me and went through it line by line. He did not rush. He made sure every detail was clear. Everything I owned, the house, my savings, my retirement accounts, my life insurance, all of it would go to Paul and Karen's 2 kids, Michael and Emma, split evenly. Ashley got nothing. I signed every page. Tom witnessed it and filed it the right way. Tom leaned back and looked at me. You know she is going to contest this. Let her, I said. I'm of sound mind. This is what I want. On Wednesday, Ashley showed up at my office. My assistant tried to stop her, but Ashley pushed past and marched right in like she had a right to do it. Dad, she said, we need to talk now. I did not even stand up. I looked up from my computer and kept my voice flat. We have nothing to discuss. Her face tightened. You cannot kick us out. That's our home too. No, I said. It's my home. You were guests who stayed too long. Then you crossed lines that should never be crossed. She scoffed. Crossed lines? Dad, you are being ridiculous. I pulled up the eviction paperwork on my computer and turned the screen so she could read it. It listed it all in plain language. Illegal actions, unauthorized occupancy, installing locks without the homeowner's consent, breaking and entering, fraud. I pointed at the screen. Tom also filed criminal complaints this morning. The district attorney's office is reviewing them. Ashley's face went white. You're trying to get us arrested, she whispered. I'm not trying to do anything, I said. I'm letting the law decide what your actions were. And yes, what you did was wrong. I closed my laptop and stood up. Ashley, I said, you lied to me for 6 months about visiting your aunt. You moved a stranger into my bedroom. You tossed my belongings into the garage like they were trash. You lived off me for 5 years without contributing in any real way. I shook my head. At what point did you tell yourself this was acceptable? Her voice got sharp, defensive. We needed help. Then you should have asked like an adult, I said. Instead, you lied, you manipulated, and you took. I stepped around my desk. You have 27 days left. I suggest you spend them finding an apartment instead of showing up at my job. Her eyes filled up again. I'm your daughter. Yes, I said. And I raised you better than this. I held her gaze. Somewhere along the way, you decided you were going to treat family like this. That choice is on you, not on me. Security showed up at the door. My assistant must have called them. They escorted Ashley out. After that, she did not call again. Thursday, I got a call from a number I did not recognize. A man introduced himself. Mr. Watson? This is Brandon Parker, Tyler's brother. I had met him maybe twice at family get-togethers. I did not know him well. I know who you are, I said. Brandon sounded uncomfortable, like he hated being in the middle. Look, I need to be straight with you. Ashley and Tyler told us their whole house flooded. That's why they needed to stay with us. He sighed. But I just saw the eviction notice they got served. What is really going on? So I told him. All of it. The lock. The bedroom. Tyler's dad. The lies about Karen. There was a long silence on the other end. Finally Brandon said, real quiet, good Lord. Then he cleared his throat. Mr. Watson, I'm sorry. I had no idea. They need to leave my place too. I have kids. I'm not running a shelter for liars. That's between you and them, I said. Yeah, he replied. But I wanted you to know not everybody in Tyler's family is like this. My parents would be ashamed if they knew. I appreciate that, I told him. And for what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing. I paused, then said the truth I did not want to say, but still believed. Sometimes people need to hit the bottom before they change. After I hung up, I let myself hope for a second. Maybe this would wake Ashley up. Maybe she would finally see what she had done. Maybe she would make real changes and become the person I thought I raised. But I was not counting on it. The next week went quiet. I settled into a routine after they left. I went to work. I came home. And for the first time in a long time, I lived in my own house without feeling like I had to tiptoe around anybody. I cooked dinner without Ashley picking apart my seasoning. I watched television without Tyler's dad sitting there like he belonged. Then I caught myself and shook my head. I had not even really lived with his father. I almost did for about 12 hours. Still, the whole place felt different. Bigger, quieter, emptier, sure, but not in a bad way. It felt like the house could finally breathe again. And so could I. That Saturday, I drove out to Paul's place. I brought lunch from the deli, the kind my sister Karen used to love. Paul and I sat on the back porch eating sandwiches. We did not talk much at first. We did not need to. Grief has its own language. My phone buzzed. Ashley was calling. I stared at it until it stopped ringing. Paul watched me for a second, then he said, "She called me, too. Eventually she asked if she could borrow money. Told me you kicked her out over nothing." I looked at him. "What did you tell her?" Paul took a slow breath. "I told her I knew she did not visit Karen. I told her you found out she lied to you for months while her aunt was dying." He paused. Then I hung up. I nodded once. That was all that needed saying. I took a bite of my sandwich and chewed like it mattered. "I changed my will," I said. "Everything goes to you and the kids now." Paul's eyes widened. "Frank, you do not have to do that." "I want to," I told him. "You showed up for Karen. Your kids showed up. Ashley did not." Paul set his sandwich down. "She is still your daughter." "I know," I said. "But I am done rewarding bad behavior. Maybe if she has to face real consequences, she will finally grow up. And if she does not, then at least I will know I tried everything I could without destroying myself." Paul's voice softened. "Karen was right about them using you." I nodded. I should have listened. Paul looked out toward the yard for a moment, then back at me. "She loved you. She just wanted you to be happy." "I'm working on it," I said. Days passed. Work, home, quiet. It was not perfect, but it was peaceful. Then the day came. The 27th day. I pulled into my driveway after work and saw Tyler's truck sitting there. Ashley was standing on the porch like she had been waiting a while. My jaw clenched. I parked, got out slow, and shut the car door. "You're trespassing," I said. Ashley's shoulders sagged. "Dad, please. Just listen. We found an apartment. We're moving in this weekend. We just need to get the rest of our things." I kept my voice calm. "Fine. You have 1 hour. I'll be watching. You take what is yours, and only what is yours." They moved fast. I will give them that. Boxes of clothes. Kitchen stuff. Personal items. They loaded up electronics they had bought themselves. I checked every box. At one point, I caught Tyler trying to carry out a television I bought 3 years earlier. I stepped in front of him. "That stays." Tyler made a face. "Come on. We need a television." "Then buy one," I said. "That one is mine." He put it back down, glaring like I was the problem. When they finished, Ashley stood by the truck and turned toward me one last time. Her eyes were wet. "Dad," she said, "I'm sorry. I know I messed up. Maybe in a few months, can we talk?" I looked at my daughter. 34 years old. She had her mother's eyes and my stubborn chin. A person I loved more than anything, and a person who had acted like somebody I barely recognized. "You want to talk?" I said. "Then get your life together. Get therapy. Figure out why you thought any of this was okay. Then maybe we can talk about rebuilding trust." I paused and let the words land. "But Ashley, that is years away, not months. You do not fix what you did with one phone call." She nodded, crying harder now. She climbed into the passenger seat. Tyler started the truck, and they drove away. I went inside and walked the house room by room. The kitchen was clean. The living room was clear of their clutter. My bedroom was exactly the way I left it that morning. The house was quiet, and it was mine again. I called Tom. "They're out," I said. "Thanks for your help." "Glad it's resolved," he replied. "You doing okay?" "I'm getting there," I told him. That night, I sat on the back porch with a beer and watched the sun go down. I thought about my wife, Melissa. I thought about my sister, Karen. I thought about the daughter I raised and the stranger she became. The next morning, I would wake up in my own room, in my own house, with locks only I had keys to. I would make coffee in a kitchen that stayed clean. I would live my life without supporting 2 grown adults who should have been supporting themselves years ago. It hurt. It hurt like losing Melissa all over again. But it was the right kind of hurt. The kind you feel when a doctor sets a broken bone. Painful, yes, but necessary if you want to heal right. My phone buzzed. A text from Paul. "Michael wants to know if you're coming to dinner Sunday. Emma is making Karen's lasagna." I smiled. I typed back, "I'll be there. Want me to bring anything?" Paul replied, "Just yourself. Just yourself." That meant something to me, because that is what family does. Family shows up. Family tells the truth. Family does not toss your belongings into a garage and lock you out of your own bedroom. For 5 years, I confused enabling with love. For 12 years, I tried to fill the hole Melissa left by letting Ashley lean on me like she was the answer to my grief. I had to accept something hard. Some holes never get filled. You just learn how to live with them without letting them swallow you. I finished my beer, went inside, locked the door, my locks, my choice, and went to bed in my own room. For the first time in longer than I could remember, I felt peaceful. 3 months later, a letter showed up in my mailbox. I recognized the handwriting right away. Ashley's. Inside was a money order for $300 and a short note. Dad, this is the first payment toward paying back everything we owe you. Tyler and I are in counseling. We're learning a lot about ourselves and about boundaries. I'm not asking for forgiveness yet. I just want you to know I'm trying to do better. Love, Ashley. I held that money order in my hand for a long time. $300 would not come close to paying back what they owed me. Not the money and not the stress. But it was something else. It was an acknowledgement. It was a start. I did not cash it right away. I put it in the wooden chest with my father's tools and my mother's jewelry. Not as a trophy, as a reminder. People can change if they truly want to, if they are willing to do the work. Whether Ashley would keep doing that work, I did not know. Tom would tell. But in the meantime, I had a life to live, a house to enjoy, Sunday dinners with Paul and the kids, a sister's memory to honor by showing up, telling the truth, and never letting anyone walk on me again. Karen would have been proud, and I believe Melissa would have been proud too. And for the first time since this whole mess began, I was proud of myself. Proud for standing up. Proud for saying no. Proud for remembering something I should have learned earlier. Love without boundaries is not love. It's slow damage. And I was done letting myself get damaged.